And now, Death Valley Days. Howdy, folks. I'm the Old Ranger, and I have another interesting true story for you about the historic Death Valley country. In Roswell, New Mexico, some years ago, I became acquainted with a charming lady by the name of Elizabeth Garrett. It was she who gave me the facts of the story you're about to hear. Although blind since childhood, Miss Garrett was a successful musician and teacher, beloved through New Mexico as the writer of both words and music of "O Fair New Mexico," their state song. Elizabeth Garrett was the daughter of Pat Garrett, famous as the man who killed Billy the Kid. Now, the story of Billy the Kid is a familiar one. I'm now going to tell you Pat Garrett's side of it. Patrick Floyd Garrett, former buffalo hunter and cowpuncher, now running a store at Fort Sumner. William Bonney, 19 years old, with 9 murders already on his soul. Around old Fort Sumner, where they first met early in 1878, folks call him the long and the short of it. Pat excelled with a rifle. Billy the Kid with the 6-shooter. Watch this now.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The Kid's next target was not a bottle or a hat, but the badge on the breast of James A. Brady, the sheriff of Lincoln County, against whom he held a grudge. Brady was killed wantonly, like most of this young hoodlum's victims. But this time, the shots from a 6-shooter echoed 2,000 miles away, to the nation's capital at Washington. Alarmed at the reports of bloodshed and lawlessness in New Mexico, President Rutherford B. Hayes appointed a new territorial governor for New Mexico, General Lew Wallace, with orders to bring an end to the situation and establish peace and order. One of the governor's first acts was to arrange a meeting with Billy the Kid. It took place in the county seat of Lincoln, just up the road from where Billy had murdered Sheriff Brady.
So you're Billy the Kid?
I am.
Thank you for coming. Sit down. How old are you, Billy?
19.
And I'm 51. So I'm going to talk to you as if you were my son. The President of the United States has sent me out here to New Mexico to put an end to all this bloody feuding that's ruining the territory. I've issued a proclamation of amnesty to all those who've taken part in it, on the understanding that they lay down their arms. The offer goes for you too, Billy.
Lay down these? My life wouldn't be worth a nickel. There are men in every building along that street, Governor, just itching to kill me.
Then move to some other country where you're not known. Make a fresh start.
I happen to like it here.
You're only 19, Billy.
Do you know how many notches are on my gun?
Still not too late. Surrender yourself.
Me? Surrender?
Yes. And stand trial for whatever charges may be brought against you. If you're acquitted, that will wipe the slate clean. If you're convicted...
You know blamed well I would be.
Then I give you my promise as governor that I will pardon you and set you free. That's my offer, Billy.
Sorry, Governor, it's no use.
You prefer to be an outlaw?
I guess that's about the size of it. The new sheriff. He's afraid of me. He needn't be. I wouldn't waste a bullet on his carcass.
One of these days, Billy, Lincoln County will have a sheriff of whom you're afraid. When the time comes, just remember, you had your chance. I appreciate your coming up here to Santa Fe, Mr. Chisholm. Cigar?
No, thank you. I think I can guess what's on your mind, Governor. Billy the Kid.
Yes. You sit down.
Thank you.
I've been governor for nearly 2 years now.
And you've done an excellent job, sir. The Lincoln County War is a thing of the past.
But there's no real peace in the territory. Settlers won't come out here. Billy's got a whole gang operating now.
As tough a bunch of cattle thieves as I've ever run up against.
Your herds have suffered?
Sure. In spite of the fact the Kid and I were once friends. When I accused him of stealing my cattle, he threatened my life. He meant it, too. He'd kill me at the drop of a hat if it pleased him. He has absolutely no conscience.
What's the answer, Chisholm? This can't go on.
There's an election coming up in Lincoln County. Put a sheriff in office that'll get the Kid.
Do you have anyone in mind?
Yes, I have. Pat Garrett.
What makes you think he'd do what no one else has been able to do?
Because he's smart. He's got guts. He's got, I guess you'd call it character. And he loves New Mexico.
Fighter?
Oh, I don't suppose Pat Garrett's ever killed a man in his life. But you give him a job to do, he'll follow to the end of the trail. No matter what it costs him.
Get Pat Garrett elected.
First, I'll have to persuade him to run. I'm laying all the cards on the table, Pat. Your sole job as sheriff will be to wipe out Billy the Kid.
Kid and I were pretty friendly at one time, Chisholm.
Same with me. This goes beyond personal considerations. This involves the whole future of New Mexico. We're going to attract settlers to this country, the kind that'll make it grow and prosper. We got to get rid of this killer.
How do I know I'd be elected?
We'll take care of that. Every cattleman in the county will back you. The Kid killed another man last week. The Indian agent at the Mescalero Reservation. He laughed it off. He said this shooting didn't count.
I'll run for sheriff.
Howdy, Pat.
Hello, Billy. I've been wanting to meet you, Billy. Make something plain. I'm elected, you know what's going to happen.
Sure. They'll pin a badge on you.
I'll be out to get you.
Dead or alive, huh?
Alive, if possible, so that you can be brought to trial.
Nobody'll ever put handcuffs on me, Pat.
I'm just giving you notice. I pledged my word to the voters of this county to put an end to lawlessness. And that means you.
You and me have held shooting matches before, Pat. How about another?
right now.
I'm not sheriff yet.
That badge will be right there. Or would you rather get the bullet where Brady got his? I'm warning you, Pat Garrett. You go after me and I'll blast you off the face of the earth.
Adios, Billy.
Call on me for any assistance you may need, Sheriff.
Thank you, Governor.
Cattlemen's Association will furnish you with a posse. All of them experts at tracking men.
I aim to get him before the year's out.
Lincoln County covers nearly 40,000 square miles.
I know the kid's haunts. And he's threatened to make me the next notch on his gun.
The 18th, that would be.
The 19th. He just killed another man.
Where?
Who?
Fort Sumner. A total stranger. Just to win a bet of $25.
Good luck, Sheriff.
Here for the night.
Heck of a place to spend Christmas. No grub, no fire.
Would you prefer Fort Sumner with Pat Garrett and his posse?
Stopped at the Wilcox Ranch. Picked up fresh horses. Wilcox said they headed north towards Stinking Spring. Well, there's an old stone hut there. Used to be used by sheep raiders. Chances are they've taken cover there. We push, we can make it by daylight. They're still asleep.
Jim, you and Lee stay with me. We'll cover the front of the house. That door's the only entrance. There's not a window anywhere.
The rest of you boys, post yourselves around the sides and the back.
We've got you covered, Charlie. Put up your hand.
Billy! Billy! They got me, Billy!
Don't come in here to die. Get out there and get one of them first.
I wish. And Billy the Kid was supposed to be your friend. We've got to cut their horses loose. Here we are. Nice shooting, Pat. We've got you cornered, Billy. You might as well give yourselves up.
You go to blazes, Pat.
You try to make a dash for it, and we'll kill you all as fast as you come out that door.
We still got some tricks up our sleeves.
I'm willing to wait. that smell in just the right direction.
You think it'll fetch him?
They've had nothing to eat since breakfast yesterday. What'd I tell you?
Hey, Pat, how about some coffee?
Come and get it! But come with your hands up, Billy.
Give me your word you won't shoot into us as we come out.
That's a promise.
All right. We'll surrender.
I gave my word.
Some pumpkins, ain't you, Pat? He's captured the greatest desperado in the Southwest. 19 notches on his gun.
Suppose you do your boasting to the judge, Billy, and you come up for trial.
William Bonney, you have been tried and found guilty. It is the order of this court that you be taken to Lincoln and there confined in jail until May 13th. And on that day, between the hours of sunrise and noon, you will be hanged by the neck until you are dead, dead, dead. And may God have mercy on your soul.
The jail? Nah. Pat Garrett wouldn't trust the kid in anything so rickety. He's got him up in the second story of the courthouse with handcuffs and leg irons. And 2 deputies guarding him night and day until May 13th. That ain't so far off now.
Where's the other deputy?
Ollinger? He went over to the restaurant to put on the feed bag. Looks as innocent as a schoolboy, don't he? Lying there asleep.
They're glad when this whole thing's done with. I'm riding over to White Oaks this morning to see about some lumber.
For the gallows?
Yeah. I'll be back tomorrow, the next day. Meanwhile, don't you and Ollinger relax your guard for an instant.
Don't worry, Pat. If he so much as tosses in his sleep, one of us will be ready for him.
Just remember, behind that smile of his is murder.
How about a game of money to pass the time?
I'm willing.
Your turn to deal today. I'll buck the game.
Help yourself to some chips.
On the deuce and 5 on the 8 spot.
Your system ain't working today, kid.
Game's not over yet. I ain't licked until I've thrown in my last chip. Deal another layout. Here's where I go the limit. Sorry, Bill. It's kind of clumsy playing with handcuffs on.
That's all right, kid. I'll get it for you. What's the trouble?
Now, do as I tell you and be quick about it.
One false move, mister, and you're a dead man. Now get up and turn and walk out that door. I'm gonna lock you in the gun closet while I get away. Move!
Now there's just one more thing to do. Get Pat Garrett.
There never was an escape like it. He got downstairs and held a gun at the blacksmith's head and ordered him to strike his irons. Then stole a horse and rode away.
That was 2 months ago, Pat.
Yes.
And not a trace of him since.
Oh, not a trace, Governor.
He's got to be somewhere. Even Billy the Kid can't evaporate into thin air.
I've got a dozen posses combing the territory. I hired Apaches to track him down. They're better than bloodhounds, you know that.
With no luck.
No. They lost the trail after 3 days. Chances are he slipped across the border into old Mexico.
Or he'd be safe. You didn't want to see the kid hang in the first place. You liked him.
What are you accusing me of, Chisholm?
Gentlemen, gentlemen.
I'm sorry, Pat.
The eyes of the whole nation are on New Mexico, Sheriff. Billy the Kid's got to be found.
And he'll never be taken alive, I can tell you that. He's desperate now. And if our trails cross, it's either him or me.
Did you say if?
I'm heading over to Fort Sumner with a couple of deputies. It's rumored he has a sweetheart there.
You are crazy, Billy, to come into Fort Sumner.
Crazy? Yes, about you, Carita.
Even your old friends are now afraid to harbor you.
I've still a few left. The Gutierrez.
Get out of the country, Billy. Across the border into Mexico. Before Pat Garrett catches up with you.
Pat Garrett. You see this gun, Carita?
Put it away. It frightens me.
21 notches. And right here, room for another. With Pat Garrett's name on it.
Billy? Chiquito, for the love of heaven. Promise me you will leave.
I promise. First thing tomorrow morning.
Tonight?
I've got to catch a few hours sleep and some grub.
You've had nothing to eat.
I'll slip over to Gutierrez. They'll feed me. Even though it's late at night. Senor Gutierrez, while you're making the coffee, I'm going to slip over to Pete Maxwell's and cut myself a steak off that side of beef on his porch.
I'm going to stop in here at Pete Maxwell's and see if he knows anything.
He'd be likely to.
Well, Pete's the big rod in these parts. I worked for him when I first came to Fort Sumner.
How's the start?
I know where he sleeps.
That someone on the porch?
Nah. That's the side of beef. You boys stay here. Keep in the shadows. Billy the Killer is dead.
And that's the true story as told to me by his daughter Elizabeth of Pat Garrett's role in bringing an end to the mad killings of Billy the Kid.